Hello, dear students, and welcome back to the third part of the fourth chapter of Geography, that is Mineral and Power Resources of Class 8. Today, I am going to provide you the rest of the topics that we have left, that were non conventional energy resources, or we can say that renewable energy resources. In the previous two parts, we have learned about what are minerals, we have learned about power and energy resources, and we have seen about the fossil fuels or about the resources that are non renewable, okay, that are conventional, that we are using from a long time. In this part, we are going to learn about renewable or non-conventional energy resources. As we have learned about that non-conventional sources of energy are those which are new in usage. That means since the conventional source of energy or the non-renewable sources of energy are depleting day by day, and it is impossible for us to regain or renew those energies with that pace of time. That is why now, the renewable resources of energy have become very new in usage, and these resources are very eco-friendly and do not cause environmental pollution also. So let's start the renewable power resources, or we can say the non conventional energy resources. This is the third part of the video. So let's start. As we have seen in the previous part about conventional and non-conventional, conventional, that is that we are using from a long time, non-conventional, that is new in usage. Okay, we have learned about coal, petroleum, electricity, firewood, and dried dung. Okay, now in this part we are going to learn about solar energy, wind energy, tidal energy, and bioenergy. So let's start with, first we will see what are the advantages of the non-conventional sources of energy. So first of all, these sources of energy are renewable. That means they can be renewed again and again, or we can say that non-conventional sources of energy are mostly, we get these type of energy resources from the long lasting resources of energy like sun, wind, water. All these provides us the non-conventional sources of energy. They are cheaper also. Once the plant is implemented, then it run long. Okay, now scarcity of fossil fuels, as the conventional sources of energy are depleting, so that is why now we are moving towards the non-conventional sources of energy. This can also fulfill the need of the rural areas as well as the need of the large industries or large populative areas also. They are inexhaustible and environment friendly. One most important benefit of these resources are that they are eco friendly. That means that they do not cause so much pollution in the environment. So all these are the replacement of the conventional sources of energy. I hope it is clear to you the advantages of non-conventional energy, that it is cheaper, it is non inexhaustible, they are renewable. Okay, now let's see the first what are the major examples of renewable energies. Okay, so solar energy is there, geothermal energy is there, wind energy, hydropower energy, biomass energy, and tidal energy is also there. So let's start with the first one, that is hydel power. So whenever we talk about the hydel power, so what do you understand? Hydel power refers to energy. Okay, it is mostly electric. Hydel power, that means the power that is generated by water, the power that is produced from water, that is only known as hydel power. Hydel power is energy that comes from the force of moving water. Okay, the main advantage of this form of energy is that it is clean and renewable. As we are knowing that water is available, water follows the water cycle, so it is always available for us. And with that only, the movement of water, with the high speed movement of water, we used to prepare the power. Okay, so basically hydropower plants are actually based on a simple concept of water flowing through a dam. Have you seen dam? As you can see in the picture also. So this hydropower plant works basically on a simple concept, that is water flowing through a dam. That water turns a turbine, and that turbine in turns turn the shaft of the generator. As you can see in the picture, I'll explain you. Firstly, they used to make a reservoir, okay, to create potential energy here. After that, they used to open this intake, and from there, here only they will take the flow of the water, okay. So the speed of the water is very high, that will help in moving the turbine. This turbine will move and it will help in the movement of the shaft of the generator. Due to that, this generator will also move, okay. Now here transformers is kept. That transformer will change the electricity or manage the voltage of the electricity, and after that it is supplied to the power lines through power lines to various areas. So like this only electricity is produced with the help of water. As we are knowing that water is the most important source of energy, it is used to generate electric power, okay. So basically this is the most important conventional source of energy, that is hydropower. We can also say that hydropower is nowadays slowly it is becoming older in usage. So that is why we can also consider it in conventional sources of energy, but in your book it is given in renewable resources. It is renewable resource only, okay, but now it is becoming conventional source of energy because we are using hydropower from a long time. Now, in some countries like Norway and Democratic Republic of Congo, this hydropower provides at least 99% of the country's electricity. Okay, so that means it is the major source of producing electricity in many countries. Canada is the world largest producer of hydropower. Okay, after that US. So it many countries used to produce hydropower in this. Russia is also there, Brazil, China, and Norway. And not only this much, our country India is also able to produce hydropower now. Now I hope hydropower is clear to you. The energy that is produced by water or that is produced by the moving water, that is only known as hydropower. Now let's see the next one, that is solar energy. All of you are knowing that sunlight is the largest source of non-polluting renewable energy received on earth. Sunlight is something that is not going to end, okay, and that is supplying from a long time, and it is continuously that solar power is reaching to us. So that is only, it is non-polluting also. If we will utilize this power into energy, if we will start using it, so all of you are familiar from the solar power also. We have seen solar cookers, solar calculators, watches, water pumps. Nowadays whole solar panel is used for producing electricity or producing energy from the solar power. Basically, solar energy can be directly converted into electricity by solar cells, that is photovoltaic cell. As you can see in the picture, these are the photovoltaic cell. What is the work of these photovoltaic cell? They used to change the solar energy into electrical energy, okay. So which cell is used to change the solar energy into electrical energy? That is photovoltaic cell. A single cell can produce only 2 watts, okay. So that is why a long chain is used. Basically many cells are connected to produce thousands of kilowatts of electric power. We have seen in our villages also solar power street lights are there. The street lights that work on the basis of solar power. One solar panel is attached to the pole, and from that only that street light used to glow. So that is only, this is only known as solar energy. Since sunlight is the continuous source of energy and it is renewable also, and it do not cause any pollution, so that is why it is a conventional source of energy. Presently, solar power is replacing the 5 million diesel pumps in India also. Okay, now it is taking place of the conventional sources of energy. So in India, basically Thar Desert, that is very famous for the production of solar power. Now you can see here how solar panels are attached to the roofs. We can use solar energy or solar panel at our home also. These are the solar panel from which photovoltaic cell that is converting solar energy into electrical energy. And as you can see, it is attached to, we can say, generators or transformers that is converting that energy, solar energy, into electrical energy. and from here only it is transferring to various electrical equipments for running various electrical equipments in house. So I hope it is clear to you that how solar energy is used as a conventional source of energy nowadays. Now let's see the wind power. As we are knowing that moving air is called wind. Okay, moving air, that means that moving air is having speed. So, wind energy or power is the use of wind to generate electricity. We use these wind also, the speed of air also, to produce electricity. Basically, wind power has been used to grind grains and pump water. Earlier, wind power is used to grind grains. We have seen also that with the help of wind, people used to grind grains at that time, and it has become important now due to the shortage of fossil fuels. And now, since the conventional sources of energy are exhausting, so that is why, and we are knowing that wind is a renewable energy, and it is also free. There it is cost free. We do not have to pay anything for getting the wind. So the use of wind for electricity generation has been increasing rapidly, and it is estimated that wind power would eventually replace all fossil and nuclear fuels also. So as you are knowing that, with, as you can see in the pictures, various wind turbines are used. You can see here how the wind turbines moves, and it will move, help moving the generator to create electricity. Now that is connected to transformer that is used to increase or change the voltage, and from there only the electricity is produced to various distribution line or to various areas. So with the help of wind power also, electricity is produced. In India, Tamil Nadu has the largest number of windmills, followed by Gujarat. Okay, so in India, the state that is having largest number of windmill means there are so many wind, as you can see these fans. Okay, wind vanes are, so many wind vanes are used there. So basically it is in Tamil Nadu that is largest producer of windmills after Gujarat. And if we will talk about the world, then there is Denmark, Germany, Spain, US, India, Italy and Netherlands. These are some of the countries that are installing wind power in their countries for generating electricity. Now, as you can see, now we are moving towards nuclear power or nuclear energy. I hope it is clear to you what is nuclear energy is little bit new for you. Students, there are various elements scientists have found out. Those elements are radioactive. That means they react with each other. Like we can take example of uranium, thorium, plutonium. These are the radioactive mineral, and nuclear technology uses a fuel called these radioactive minerals like uranium, thorium or plutonium, and there are many more radioactive minerals. Okay, so as you can see, what is nuclear energy? So nuclear energy is to generate power by splitting the nuclei of heavy atom such as uranium. Splitting, that means how the energy released when these atoms split into two, they create a lot of amount of energy. By that only, that energy only is used for producing electricity or for producing various works. So basically the uranium atom is split into two. As this happens, energy is released in the form of radiation and heat. So this process is only known as fission process. There are two processes in nuclear energy. There are two processes. One is fusion and one is fission. Okay, so let's see what is fusion and fission. As you can see in the first one, it is nuclear fission. So in nuclear fission, one large atom is divided into two smaller atoms. Okay, two smaller atoms that release a lot of amount of energy. That energy is only used for the purpose of generating power. Okay, for the purpose of changing it to electrical energy and various energies to run machineries. So basically it is nuclear fission when an atom breaks into two, that is nuclear energy. Okay, now nuclear fusion means when two smaller atoms combine each other. That also creates a lot of amount of energy when two light nuclei fuse together to form a heavy nucleus. So all both these reactions emit a large amount of energy that is used for generating electricity. Now nuclear energy is created through a mechanism called a reactor. Okay, we have seen nuclear power plant. So basically nuclear energy is used is through a mechanism called reactor. The power source is the heat produced by controlled nuclear fission chain reaction of uranium and any other radioactive elements. So basically chain reaction is there, not only one uranium element is there, there are many uranium elements that are splitting into various elements, and that only creates an enormous amount of energy that is used for the purpose of various works. Okay, I hope it is clear to you. But there are some pros and cons also of nuclear energy. What are the advantages? Advantage is that the amount of electricity produced in a nuclear power station is equal to that produced by a fossil fuels. That means that nuclear power plants creates or gives good amount of energy to us. Okay, and in this there is no burning of fossil fuels also, and they do not produce any damaging or polluting gases also. That means they are eco-friendly also. It is believed that this type of power resources is eco-friendly and clean, but there are some negative sides also, that are disadvantages also, because this method is used, or this nuclear power plant works on the basis of radioactive metals. Those radioactive metals are very dangerous because they remain active for thousands of years. Okay, and whenever where there is a power plant of where there is nuclear power plant, there they used to store those radioactive, they dump the radioactive minerals into deep caves and mines. Okay, so for storing and dumping, that procedure is very costly and it is extremely dangerous also, because radioactive minerals are dangerous for us. Okay, many people living near the nuclear, as we have learned about many nuclear power plant accidents also, the radioactive minerals are very hazardous for the human beings or for the animals or for any living creatures. So this is only the negative, or we can say the disadvantages of the nuclear power plant, because we cannot dump those radioactive minerals very easily, as they are very hazardous for the humans or for the living creatures. So basically the leading producers of nuclear electricity are Lithuania, France, Slovakia, Belgium, Sweden. Okay, in India, Jharkhand is the place where there are uranium is also there, because we are knowing that in Jharkhand only that Chota Nagpur plateau is there. That is also known as mineral pocket of India. That means varieties of minerals are there. Okay, Tarapur, Maharashtra, you have learned about various nuclear plants. Some of are very famous and they always come in news. Tarapur, Maharashtra, Kalapakkam, Tamil Nadu, Rawatbhata, Rajasthan, Narora, Uttar Pradesh, Kakrapar, Gujarat, and Kaiga, Karnataka. Okay, the first nuclear power station to generate electricity was set up in UK in 1956 only. So it is a very means nowadays it is very common in use. That is why they are known as conventional source, non-conventional sources of energy. I hope it is also clear to you. Now let's come to geothermal energy. Now what is geothermal energy? Geothermal energy means the energy that we get from the inside the earth, the energy that we get from the interior of the earth. It is only known as geothermal energy. That means as we have learned about the structure of our earth surface, we have learned about core, mantle, crust, we have learned about that there are enormous amount of energy, heat and pressure inside our earth surface also. That heat and pressure is only used for the production of electricity or for the production of energy. So basically hot springs. What are hot springs? There are places, aquifer, aquifer maybe all of you are knowing that the water that contains under the mountain. So due to the heat and pressure inside the earth surface, that water comes to the land, comes to the surface of the earth in the form of spring. Those water is generally very hot, their temperature is very high, and we have seen volcanic eruptions took place, earthquakes took place. So when the volcanic eruption took place, that energy that radiate during the volcanic eruption, that is also used for the purpose of generating power. So this power is obtained by using heat from the earth's interior, and that is why it is known as geothermal power or geothermal energy. That means the power that is obtained by using heat from the interior Earth's interior. That is only known as geothermal power or geothermal energy. I hope it is clear to you. Okay, basically, if we will talk about, I am giving you an example of this. You can see here. This is a place Manikaran. Okay, this place is in Himachal Pradesh. This Manikaran place is, as you can see, it is a hot spring. Hot spring means it is a spring of water that generates by its own, by the, it is underground water. Okay, and the temperature of this place is approximately 96 degrees Celsius. As you can see the steam coming out from the water body. So this heat is only used for generating power. I hope now it is clear to you. There people used to cook their food also on this hot spring of water. So like this only, this is a very famous geothermal power station in India, that is in Manikaran, Himachal Pradesh. Okay, it is a famous tourist spot also. So basically you can see, below the surface of the earth there are reservoirs. Okay, we have learned about magma that comes to the surface of the earth. So geothermal reservoirs are pool of water. They are pool of water beneath the earth's surface. That pool of water is heated by magma deep below the surface. Okay, and that water or steam can escape from cracks in the earth in form of geysers that only come to the surface of the earth through the aquifers, and that only form the hot springs outside. Okay, so that is only the ability to harness the steam. People used to utilize that steam for generating power that is coming from the surface of the earth. So that is only known as, that is the work of the geothermal power plant. Okay, so there are many leading users of geothermal energies, like this is very new: China, US, Iceland, Turkey, New Zealand, Georgia, Russia and Japan. If we will talk about India, so in India, Manikaran, Himachal Pradesh is there, Cambay, Gujarat is there. Okay, in West Bengal also, Andhra Pradesh also, Andaman Island also. So it is not necessary that the energy can only be produced by hot spring of water. Okay, they can also use the volcanic eruption energy, the energy that is releasing from the surface of the earth anyhow. I hope it is clear to you. This is Manikaran, Himachal Pradesh. Now let's come to the tidal energy. Tides, all of you are knowing what are tides, and you have watched the waves breaking on the shores at the beaches also. Okay, there is enormous energy in the waves or in the tides of the ocean also. This energy is tapped to create tidal power. This also works like that only, that like the hydel power works. The waves are there, the tides are there, and that tides, turbines are fixed there. Okay, as you can see in this picture how turbines are fixed in the ocean, and waves help in moving the turbines. That turbine only move with the help of the moving tides, and as the turbine moves, it is connected to a generator. The turbines help in the movement of the shaft of the generator, and as the generator moves, it produces electricity which is changed for the usage, and it is delivered to different places. So it is also just like hydel power only, but in this situation we are using the tides for generating the electricity. Okay, so people are using high and low tides that are utilized by building a dam. Some of in this only they used to build a dam. Okay, and they used to block the water, and they used to release the water. That means here also the speed of water is used for moving the turbine that generates electricity during high tides. So ocean currents are also used to drive underwater turbines to generate electricity along coast and islands. As you can see, ocean currents, you are knowing the movement of the water in the ocean, that is only known as ocean currents. So like this only, tides and ocean currents are also used for generating electricity, that is only known as tidal power. There are very few places that generate sustainable power, because tidal power is like that, the places where there is oceans or where there is tides, there only we can produce tidal power. India's first tidal power project is coming up at Durga Duani Creek in the Sundarbans area of West Bengal. This project is approximately cost 40 crore rupees. Okay, this is basically in Durga Duani Creek in the Sundarban deltas of West Bengal. There are many other places: Gulf of Cambay, Gulf of Kutch, all these here also. ocean is there, so that water is used for generating tidal power. So I hope it is clear to you. Now we will come towards the bioenergy. Now, what is bioenergy or what are biofuels? So basically, what is bioenergy? The energy that is produced by organic waste. The energy that is produced by organic waste like a plant material, animal waste or human excreta. Okay, the energy that we get from that is only known as biofuel. As the conventional sources are depleting, so basically biofuel is also a renewable resource of energy. It is basically used in the houses, or we can say that bioenergy is basically used in villages. Okay, if we will talk about biogas, I hope you all are familiar about biogas. In biogas is obtained from gobar gas plant by putting cow dung into the plant. Cow dung into the plant, that means animal manure into the plant. Biogas is produced by the breakdown of organic matter in the absence of oxygen. Okay, biogas is clean and easily controlled source of renewable energy like solar and wind energy from organic waste material also. As you can see, where there is raw material available, there we can produce biogas. Here it is the plant. As you can see here, the manure is used. Here is a biogas generator that is releasing gas from it, especially methane is there. Okay, and that methane gas is used for burn for cooking or heating. But this energy or this source of energy creates release large amount of carbon dioxide also, and that carbon dioxide is used by plants in the process of photosynthesis. So I hope it is clear to you what is biogas. As you can see, what is biogas? Biogas is clean and efficient fuel. Okay, it is a mixture of many gases. In this, methane is there, carbon dioxide is there, hydrogen is there, and hydrogen sulfide is there. So if someone asks you what is the chief constituent of biogas, so your answer will be methane. Methane is available in large amount in biogas. Okay, so I hope biogas is clear to you. Biogas is produced by the breakdown of organic matter in the absence of oxygen. Biogas is basically used, as you can see, what are the raw materials required? Okay, animal dung, poultry waste, plant waste, human excreta, or industrial waste or domestic waste like vegetable peels or waste food materials. All these are used, all these are changed into usable forms for converting it into bioenergy. I hope it is clear to you. So this gas is very useful as a fuel substitute for firewood. In place of firewood or dung, we can use it. Agricultural residues, petrol, diesel, electricity, we can use these biogas. Okay, so I hope it is clear to you. Now, as you can see, now if we will talk about biofuels, that means the fuel that is generating, the fuel that can be generated by the organic waste, that is only biofuels. But there are various type of biofuels also. There are many types of biofuels. Okay, so basically if we will talk about the oldest one, so that is wood. Wood is also a biofuel. Okay, liquid biofuels are particularly important as they can replace existing fossil fuels. So there are some countries, the most famous biofuel is bioethanol. The most famous is ethanol. Ethanol. So the leading countries like US and Brazil are the leading producer of bioethanol. That means ethanol is a biofuel. Okay, so it is basically made by corn. As you can see in the picture, corn ethanol is there. With the help of corn, they used to produce energy. They use sugar cane for producing biofuel. When it is blended with petrol, ethanol content is about 85%. They use various products together. They use the cornstarch, they ferment the sugarcane juice for producing energy. So that is only by that only they used to produce ethanol, that is a famous biofuel. Now if we will talk about other biofuel, so biodiesel is there. Biodiesel is produced with the vegetable or vegetable oil. Okay, so basically it is treated again and again, like seeds, vegetable, foods are treated, and that is only converted to biodiesel. That means they used to ferment all these things, and from that only biofuel is obtained. So biodiesel is generally made from soybean, palm oil, sunflower, canola, groundnut, rape seeds, and sometimes from recycled cooked oil also. The waste of restaurants, the used oil that is also used for making biofuels. Okay. Other than all these, there are methanol, as you can see. This is a biodiesel cycle. Okay, so basically oil crops are synthesized with the solar energy, and from there only it is changed in biorefineries into biofuels, and from that only we get biofuels. So I hope biofuel, if someone asks you give some examples of biofuel, so in that we will have ethanol. Okay, in biodiesel, if we will talk about, biodiesel is there, methane is there, methanol is there, butanol is there. All these are the biofuels that are being used by us nowadays. So students, all the topics I have covered till now, and I hope this chapter is very clear to you. The last topic is about mineral conservation. Conservation, that means we have to protect the mineral, we have to restrict the uses of mineral, or we have to use the minerals in the field of sustainable development, so that minerals can be left over or left for the future generations also. So we have to conserve our mineral resources. By that only mineral resources will be long lasting. So I hope this chapter is clear to you. This is all for today. Thank you, students.